Welcome to another Roses webinar series where care meets connection. Every session is designed to support families like yours with real insight, helpful tools, and heartfelt guidance. Meet your host for this session, Mahira, Executive Director at Taskfer Health, Aiden, the Home Care Coordinator of Another Rose LLC.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome to our webinar, Making a Home a Safe Place for Seniors. I'm Aiden, and I'll be guiding you through today's session. We're thrilled to have you join us as we explore how in-home care can make a significant difference in the lives of our loved ones. Before we get started, few quick notes. Today's webinar will run approximately 8 minutes long, and this webinar is recorded and we'll have a replay sent to you along with some helpful resources. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat and we'll answer them one by one. Now let's meet our presenter. Our presenter is Mira. She's the Executive Director of Sales, Marketing, and HR at Taskfer Health. She holds a bachelor's degree in business administration and she's currently pursuing her MBA. So take the floor.
Thank you so much, Aiden. It's wonderful to be a part of this conversation around such an important topic, one that gives families the confidence and tools they need to help their loved ones age safely and with dignity in the comfort of their home. As our loved ones age, their preferences and priorities shift, and one of the most consistent desires we see among seniors is to wish to age in place. That means staying in comfort, safety, and familiarity of their own homes as long as possible. It's not just about comfort, and it's about dignity, autonomy, and quality of life. So let's begin by understanding why in-home care is such a critical option for many families. Aging in population being number one, many seniors prefer to age in place, staying in comfort of their homes. This is where in-home care becomes a vital piece of the puzzle. It bridges between complete independence and the more intensive environment of assisted living or nursing homes. Think about it. With even just a few hours of week of professional support, seniors can maintain independence, stay connected with their communities, and enjoy comforts of home safely. This is where simple technology can go a long way. For example, we've seen benefit from such things like families discrete fall detection devices at Taskfer Health that alert caregivers instantly. So that's what we do for a living. We help out seniors in prioritizing it, and seniors are the most important aspect of our business. And same is the case for Another Rose. No need for your loved one to even press a button. Even family members like children get notified. So challenges are also, a part of the element. However, family caregivers often find themselves overwhelmed balancing work, kids, and the emotional weight of caregiving. It's completely natural to feel the strain, and you're not alone. From fall detection and emergency alerts to tools to help monitor daily well-being, especially help for family members balancing work or living at a distance. Now, these types of resources don't replace care, they enhance it. This is why, and this is what we have at Taskfer for our seniors, and we place high priority to seniors and technology that is as simple to install it, and not just that, but also assist with daily activities. So by working alongside in-home care, they help keep seniors safe while giving caregivers a little breathing room. whether it is being enrolled in BP monitoring or if seniors are diabetic. We have extremely reasonable programs to help you out with. So let's walk through some real life caregiving tips you can use to lighten the load, especially when caring for a loved one with complex needs or challenging behaviors. So next slide, please. So that is the start, and these are some of the handy tips. So number one, in common caregiving challenges and signs of needing help is one of the toughest parts of caregiving is handling challenging behaviors, especially when dealing with dementia, confusion, or emotional distress. And, to start off with, we have a lot of things that should be considered. And there are things when it comes to all of these sort of things where caregiver starts feeling overwhelmed and there are challenges that needs to be addressed, and so there are some of those factors that need to be considered when it comes to that point. So there are questions like, what can I do when caregiving feels overwhelming? So there are a few things that caregivers can really go through. One of them being, stay patient and calm. Caregiving, as we know, can be emotionally exhausting, especially when the person you're caring for is confused or forgetful. In those moments, staying calm helps de-escalate the situation. Your loved one may mirror your emotions, so showing patience can create a more peaceful atmosphere and help avoid unnecessary tension. And number two being avoid taking behavior seriously. When a loved one lashes out or behaves inappropriately, it's not just about you. It can be a result of confusion, fear, frustration, or disease progression. By not taking things personally, you protect your emotional well being and can respond more effectively without feeling hurt or defensive. So, when you consider pain as a potential trigger, sometimes sudden changes in behavior like aggression, withdrawal, can be signs of underlying pain or discomfort. The person may not be able to clearly express what's wrong, so always check for physical issues like hunger, thirst, infections, or even tight clothing or uncomfortable position. So, there are ways or signs that, like, your loved one may need care. One of them being, emotional distress, not feeling very comfortable, and acknowledging behavior as a part of the disease. Walk through them. Understand the unusual behavior such as paranoia, repetition, or is often a symptom of illness, not intentional. So by accepting this reality, you're better equipped to respond with empathy. Walking through means meeting them where they are, emotionally and mentally, rather than correcting or resisting their reality. So don't hesitate to ask for help. Caregivers shouldn't be a solo mission. Feeling overwhelmed is completely normal. Reaching out to your friends, family, and connections for help, even taking a short break, can do wonders for your mental and emotional health. And all of that included on top of that, if there are ways or if there are things that you think can really substitute to the point that sometimes you're not up to working but you still have to make it, at the end of the day you have to remember that these are a few things that would matter in the end of the day. So there are a few things that should be considered. Also, if you think that you're feeling like something wrong would happen to the person you're taking care of, whether it's a patient or a loved one, you should remember that there are other tools out there, and technology is extremely expanding and evolving rapidly on a daily basis. And from the things that we have done at Taskfer, we have seen that there is a growing demand of senior care and senior health. So these things really matter. In the world and time right now, we are, expanding and creatively thinking about ways to make lives better. And just a tool alongside a caregiver really makes a huge difference. Just imagine if you're out of town, or you can't make it up to work because of your urgent issues. What are the other tools that will be, used as a substitute? It could be a fall detection device. Maybe your patient is having a hard time get up, or you are worried that they might have any kind of trouble when they're, climbing stairs or something like that. So in that case, there are ways and there are devices like fall detection. And if they are diabetic, you can simply get them over some kind of programs, which include, diabetic programs, which includes glucose meters. So basically being constantly monitored by professionals, by licensed nurses, can make a huge difference. And it's not just the monitoring part, it's also that when you come to realize that these people actually build a connection, that is something that really matters to seniors. At that point in time, when we start thinking about it, at that point in time, at that age, you start feeling like you're isolating yourself from social, connections, or, your children don't have enough time for you to spend around. And that's when these things really matter to them. It might not be a very big deal for us. But when a senior is in that kind of vulnerable situation, what happens is that really it's just those connections that matters to them. Let's just take an instance. For example, a nurse calls and she remembers about their birthday, and that really will make a difference, right? When someone calls and someone wishes them well. So there are things that can be done in a particular way, and it just will make the caregiver's life easier. So without feeling distressed, there are tools that they can use in day-to-day basis. And when their needs are not met, you can understand that, they may need care. And the care can be of other types as well. Like if they have they're considering a pain, which is like a potential trigger, but you can help them out emotionally. So sometimes the signs are clear that additional support is needed. It could be your loved one showing signs that memory loss or frequent falls, or maybe you, as a caregiver, are feeling physically or emotionally exhausted. And everybody feels emotionally and physically exhausted, right? I mean, there is no person on earth who would be working 24/7 without actually giving their mind a break. So, now we would start off with signs your loved one may need care. And well, that covers all of it. And now I think we move to the next slide. Why is another rose again? Why are you considering another rose, and why you should? Because, compassionate services that include, companion care, the connection that I just talked about, personal care assistance, which is personalized yet also customized with bathing, dressing, meals, etc. So there is a lot of things that you get, just not that. So there are homemaker services, and there's a lot more. It is specially customized in a way that you really get to communicate in a personal manner. And if there are patients that feel uncomfortable, and that needs to be addressed, and you can just work the way they want you to. So it's simply why another rose just, brings different and unique things to the table. It's just because of the caregivers that they have at the moment. And it just really makes a difference when someone really needs help. and that help is always taken care of. So, yeah. Now, we move to the Q&A session.
Does anyone have any questions?
Julian does have a question, I guess.
So one of the questions is, beyond the signs mentioned, are there any less obvious indicators that a senior's personal needs aren't being met or that their safety is truly at risk?
Absolutely. While the more visible signs like frequent falls or missed medications or red flags, there are also less obvious indicators that a senior may be struggling at home or that their safety and well-being are at risk. These subtle cues often, go unnoticed but can just be as critical. So it also includes cognitive and behavioral change. So getting lost in their own home or neighborhood is one of those factors that really make a difference. And unusual mood swings or withdrawals. A senior was once social, may become quiet, agitated, or even paranoid. So repetitive questioning or forgetfulness, asking the same thing over and over again, or forgetting appointments can be an early sign of cognitive decline, which sometimes can be resolved. And, there are, we've got a Taskfer Help. We do have, assisted living facilities that we're currently supporting. And the way we're supporting is not just using those tools that the caregivers use, but there are other ways. For example, the caregivers do have these what we call golden care programs where we engage with these seniors, have have them assist with daily tasks like if they have problem with payments, if they have problem with making, there are right now in US, you've seen that there is a high level of scam calls happening on a daily basis. I myself, I get a lot of calls on a daily basis. So how is that to be changed? If there is a third person, like, maybe a caregiver, or if they choose to take a program or enroll in a program which is as reasonable as Golden Care, this also includes helping them or assisting them in a way that they are restricted from these kind of scam calls. They're, educated in a way that, you should not fall for these kind of scams. I have personally read there are a lot of cases where, seniors just are approached by, ways where they get scammed. So yeah, there are cognitive and behavioral changes, and that should really be addressed.
Here's another one. If we see some of these signs, but our loved one is resistant to the idea of in-home care, what's the best way to approach that conversation with them?
Great question, and one that so many families wrestle with. Resistance to in-home care is incredibly common, especially among seniors who deeply value their independence or feel embarrassed by the idea of needing help. So, a thoughtful way to be approaching that conversation or is that, with empathy, not urgency. So, begin by listening more than talking. Ask open-ended questions like, how have you been feeling about getting around the house lately? Have you noticed anything that's been harder to do lately? This allows them to reflect without feeling judged or pressured. So, you know, one should avoid starting the conversation right after a crisis, like a fall. Emotions may be high and it can feel like an ambush. So, choosing a quiet and calm moment really does make a difference. So, focusing on what matters to them instead of framing care as something they need to talk about, how it can support their goals. So I know you want to stay in this home you love, something like that. Like, I want to make sure you keep your independence and you don't want to rely on me on everything. So emphasize that in-home care is about maintaining their freedom and dignity and not taking it away. So using gentle language like, hey, let's explore some extra support instead of you need care. You know, these kind of things really do make a difference.
Thank you. And we have another question. It says, how do we connect with Taskfer Health if I am an allied health provider, and do you do consultations?
Okay, for that case, you would, schedule an appointment online on the website. We can drop that down here. And then, we can schedule a meeting. And after that, we can discuss that in more detail. So these kind of programs really do help, you know. We accept referrals from providers, so, speech pathologists, social workers, um, all those kind of things. So, and, working with providers, we do have experience on doing that. So, we can go into this by, maybe dropping it here our website, and then we can schedule a call. And yeah.
And there's another question. It sounds like a common challenge for family caregivers is feeling overwhelmed. What do you think are some early signs that a family caregiver might be reaching their limit and needs to consider external support?
That's a very thoughtful question. Honestly, one that hits it hard of why family caregivers sometimes wait too long before getting help. Often they're, so focused on their loved one and they don't realize they themselves are burning out. So, physical burnout, fatigue that doesn't go away with rest, aches, headaches, increased illness from stress, and neglecting their own health or needs over everyone else's. But, one should prioritize their health first, skipping doctor's appointment or not managing their, own medication, poor eating habits or lack of exercise, things like that. So forgetfulness or even mistakes, you know, people make mistakes, human make mistakes. There is no, limit to that. So, if they're always being exhausted, um, there are ways you can meditate. You can drink some herbal tea, something that really helps you out. Maybe go out for a fresh air, get some fresh air, go out for a walk. And it really does make a difference. I hope that answers your question.
Here is another one. You mentioned technology like fall detection devices. Can you elaborate on other simple technologies that can make a big difference for seniors aging in place?
Yeah, for sure. So just like fall detection devices, these kind of things, devices that we have, and we're constantly working on with our manufacturers, and the ideas that we have, we execute them and we make sure that we get the best way to address it as possible, because we look at the seniors' pain points and we try to make it as easy as possible. Along with that, we do have the training where you actually do go through the training, whether you're a caregiver, whether you're a nurse, your family member who needs to help out in home care, or your senior aging in place. We make sure that we do have devices. So like fall detection device, it basically has an installation over the ceiling, and it has a certain radius in which it covers the area. So there are other devices, for example, just like I said, for most important thing, I believe, from the clientele and the experiences that I have gone through with the people that we have worked with at Taskfer, I have seen that there is a growing demand in ways to avoid chronic care and to enhance and improve, um, the chronic care management. So, for example, if there is I would say a caregiver needs help with their seniors, and the patient is at home and they can't really help them out because they're caught up with something else comes up. What are the possible things or ways where it really helps you out? So you know if they have two or more chronic conditions, they do or we can enroll them in programs like diabetes, or like blood pressure monitoring. And yeah, that's mostly it. So there are a lot of ways, and you guys can always go to our website. I will drop it down here. And if anyone has a question or a query, we will address it promptly. So it is absolutely pleasure, and we're also open to discussion of any kinds of, if there are any kinds of referrals that need to be done, any pilot programs, we are more than welcome, because when it comes to seniors, our priority has always been that. Senior care is I would say, the most vital thing right now, and helping them out, just making their life better, does a major difference. So anyone who needs any kind of assistance in knowing about golden care, about fall detection devices, we also have a phone number that I can drop down. We're based in Georgia, and anywhere else you're located, we cover the areas, all 50 states. So, I mean, yeah.
Well, thank you. There is one more question. It's, what's a typical process for someone interested in Another Rose's services from initial contact to having care provided in home? So for Another Rose, initially, I would say roughly 2 weeks, because we have to get the referral and then we have to do the initial assessment. And then once we do the initial assessment, we figure out how many days that the client needs care, and then we'll go from there. So roughly, I would say like 2 weeks or so is the average time. If it has to be sooner, we will try everything that we can do to make it sooner.
Great.
But is there any more questions? All right, perfect. Well, thank you everyone for joining, and thank you again, Mira, for joining us and
Thank you,
helping us.
Aiden. It was a pleasure, and I'm honored to have a discussion that is really important. And Another Rose is doing a great job. And yes, it's really important to hire a caregiver. In-home care is very essential, so everybody should go for it. And yeah, we're all here to help out seniors.
Of course. Of course, thank you. All right. Well, we hope this webinar has given you helpful insight into how to make your home a safe and supportive place for your elderly loved one. Here's what you can do next. We have social media accounts, so you can keep posted on the events and follow us on our Instagram account at Another Rose LLC, and our Facebook page, which is at Another Rose 2021. If you have any questions or personal assistance, you can give Another Rose a call at 470-236-8317, or you can visit our website at www.anotherrose.com for more information. And just a reminder, if you did miss part of this webinar, it is completely okay. We will be sending a follow-up email with the feedback form and resources discussed today. Our webinar replay video can also be found on our website. So thank y'all so much. And from all of us at Another Rose LLC, we appreciate your time, and we look forward to supporting you and your loved ones and everything else.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Have a great day.
Thank you. Have a great day, Aiden.